You have to cut that up so they can hear it. I gotta get me one of them fancy iPhone stands. This right here ain't working out for the Hebrew. Watch it. We got a heavy topic going down tonight. We're gonna discuss these disgusting horrors out there in Israel. Watch it. Those that call themselves listen, man. Don't be turned off about that title. Y'all know there's a lot of hoes out there. Some hoes in this house, man. So what we're gonna do tonight is we're gonna show you the consequences of being a whore among the children of Israel. It ain't what you think, guaranteed, man. Bear with me. You know we coming up on the so-called what they call that month. No, they give us a month to celebrate black folks. We're coming up on Black History Month, and supposedly it's we honor Dr. Martin Luther King, Michael King, or Michael who? What was his name?
Right, Orgy Mike.
Michael who?
Orgy Mike.
Orgy Mike. So we honor Orgy Mike, right? Who is infamously known as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is infamously known as Orgy Mike. That's one of the things people don't know about Martin Luther King Jr. is that, aside from being the biggest hoe in Israel, he was the biggest hoe in Israel, right? Having menage a trois with white women, man, while his detail, secured the premises of the hotel and looked out for him, man. So Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., man, and you're gonna find that when they finally release these tapes, that they've been actually find for me that document if you could, priest. After you do that, the date that is set for that tape to be released, or that additional information about Martin Luther King's whoredoms is set to be released. Because what they did, they blocked certain information from coming out about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for a reason, right? And the reason is because they wanted that his theme to be fully permeated in the mind of black folks. So what we're going to discuss today, man, if you would just go and log on to the Israelite School of UPK main page, we're going to discuss today the disgusting horrors, man, out of the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community, man, that led us deep down this goddamn ditch, seemingly of no return if it wasn't for the Most High's grace. So if you could, log on to the Israelite School of UPK's main page, and we're going to get off into these heavy topics about all of the goddamn disgusting horrors, man, out there that's designed to pull you away. Michael King, that was his name, exactly. Or Michael, he wasn't King though, was it? following behind us some so-called evangelists. Give us another song real quick, please. It's Lucky. Can y'all cut that heat down or off? Such a vast amount of wealth. Did you cut it off? It's baking up here. You all set up over there, ready to go? Go ahead.
His name wasn't Martin Luther. It was Michael King.
Right.
He added the Martin Luther from
following behind them, what evangelist, what was the name, who was that he got his name, the Lutheran, it was a Lutheran.
Yeah, it said Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth name was not Martin, but Michael. Dr. King's father traveled to Germany and was inspired by a Protestant reformer.
Protestant, yeah, that Protestant Martin Luther King. Hold that article right there, we're gonna get off and do a little bit of that.
Why are MLK records sealed until 2027?
Say it again, why are they sealed?
Until 2027.
That's something that I want, can you put that on? Can you put that actual statement on there? Yeah, put that on there. Do they, are they giving reasons for it, or is it just a question?
Say, on January 31st, 1977, MLK's FBI records were sealed by court order overriding the Freedom of Information Act until 2027.
That's what I want. Put that on online so everybody can see it in the class. Can you do? Is it too late for that? All right, put that up there. People don't realize, man, if you can do that simultaneously with, you know, letting the audience in, can you do that? Or you have to do it first?
The audience is in now.
They are? Okay, so cut the music then. We're going to start the class. All right, Shalom, Israel. I'm Captain LeBon. Of course, I represent the Israelite School of UPK in the city of Detroit. Under Commanding General Yohana. Everybody know we started in 1969 at 1 West 125th Street. That our classes bang all over the earth, man, 7 days a week. You know, that in terms of the work out there of rescuing Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people from their oppressor, man, the ISUPK is, you know, is foremost the authority on that subject right there. Today, we're going to discuss a heavy topic out there, and I'm going to show you a correlation between. I'm going to show you how. First, before I say that, let's go to what Paul said in Romans the 12th chapter. Let's go to Romans 12 around. I believe it, Romans 12 and around 1 or 2. Verse 1. Actually, read it from the top, Romans 12 and 1. Because I want to make a heavy point, because we're embarking on another month of so-called Black history. All right? Actually, before we begin, is there any questions out there in the audience? Let's get those questions first. Anybody got any questions online? Let's tackle those. And then we'll go off into the body of the class, or the main topic of the class after the questions. I know you were saying that you had a question. I don't know if that was Saturday, that you wanted to hold your question for today. Do you remember what it was?
No.
If you don't, Zarak?
I had just a question on wanting to break down on the 4 horsemen.
On the 4 horsemen. Okay, go ahead. Let's get into it. 4 horsemen. That's a heavy one right there. Usually we reserve those for General Muhammad. Let me see if I remember them. I've heard them a couple of times. What question did you have? And go ahead and give me the chapter and verse.
Well, it's Revelations chapter 6.
Mm-hmm.
I just I never known about it. You know,
Chapter 6, verse what?
I think it starts from like 1 all the
Okay.
way down to 6.
Let's go. Let's go with it.
When the book of Revelations, chapter 6, and verse 1, then I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder,
Mm-hmm.
one of the four beasts saying, Come and see.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2, and I saw, and behold, a white horse.
So the book of Revelations, right, was a vision received by who? Go ahead.
John.
Right,
Revelator.
John the Revelator, right, on a prison island, called Patmos. So he's on. Imagine being locked away on this goddamn island, man. The Romans got you tucked away, where you can't influence anybody with the vast amount of knowledge that you have right now. All of us smarter than anybody out there amongst our community for showing up here today, right? John blessed with these visions that he was receiving, was locked away on this island for following Christ. And while he was there, he received, like I said, visions from the Most High through angels. So think about Revelations as what?
As end times?
Um,
Salakia.
mhm.
Revealing the things.
Okay, but how though? Revelations does mean to reveal, but how is John receiving these revelations?
He's having visions.
Right. So these visions he's having, is it as he's having these visions, does it translate into a literal sense, meaning like you're reading about 4 horsemen? Is it really 4 horsemen, or is it a metaphor for something?
It's a metaphor for something.
Right. So that's the first thing you need to realize whenever you read the book of Revelations, that all of it is allegory, is a metaphor. And I love giving this analogy when you're talking about Revelations. John, as you indicated, Revelations is pertaining to the very end. You know, like that time with Christ coming to the earth. You know, so what he's trying to do is get you to get the people that would read the book to understand what he was seeing was what we would experience in the earth, but he had to sum it up, surmise it in a way that he understood it. Meaning, like, and I always use this reference right here, like he said, a flying arrow with fire coming out the back of it, right? And that today we know that will be a what? Go ahead.
Like a missile or a rocket.
That's right. And the dragon a dragon breathes down what?
Fire.
Right, a dragon breathes down fire, and that would be a what?
It's like
That dragon would represent what today, and is breathing down fire into the earth. What breathes down fire into the earth today? Just happened over in Iraq a few weeks ago. What happened in Iraq a few weeks ago? Who knows? Kazak?
when he dropped, they had the aircraft, the war aircraft dropped bombs on the.
That's right, and killed that general.
Yeah.
The United States of America put a hit out on the general over there in Iran. And they didn't send a man over there to shoot him in the face.
Right.
The United States of America sent what? A goddamn drone that would rain fire down from the sky. And if you looked at that video, all you saw was fire in those explosions from those rockets that was launched from those drones. So John is trying to get you to, and everybody that read it before us, to kind of understand in his way, because he doesn't know what no goddamn drone is.
Right. Okay.
He don't know how to say it was a drone. And if he said it was a drone, what would the people that read it before us know? Nothing. What the fuck is a drone?
Right.
So John had to put this in a way that the people could understand from his perspective. You know what I mean? 2,000 years ago, there was no airplanes,
Right.
was no drones, was no missiles. But he getting this vision, and he's seeing hell rain down from the sky from these flying entities. You know what I'm saying? So quite naturally, he's going to say a dragon that's breathing fire down from the sky, right?
Right.
So think about Revelations as think about it as a more spiritual, more allegory, more more of a vision. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to something that's really literal. There was no flying fucking horsemen. You get my point? Wasn't no horsemen flying no goddamn where. So read it again.
Kind of kind. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him.
So think about that right there. A white horse, right? So a white horse, and he that sat upon this white horse had a crown and a bow. What does the bow represent?
Bow? Like a bow and arrow? Or?
Well, that's right. He had a weapon in his hand, right? He had a weapon in his hand, and you know, a bow and arrow is used to what? To kill enemies, right? So I would be looking at the bow as a metaphor for warfare, right? And the white horse, I would look at the color of the horse as representing something clean, you know, something clean and righteous, you see. And then certainly the crown would represent what? Authority, power, a kingship. So who is this individual on this white horse? Metaphor for who? Go ahead.
Yahweh.
That's right. This horseman would be Christ. All right. So go to the next one.
Verse 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
So how would you, based on the analogy that I just gave you with the white horse, what would you get from this horse right here? Read it one more time.
And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another.
So what would you say about this horse right here? Start at the beginning. And power was given to this horse.
And power, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
So if power was given to this horse to take peace from the earth, what would this horse represent then? Go ahead.
Wickedness.
Not wickedness. Kazak.
It said, and power was given to him that sat thereon.
That's the one I'm talking about. The power that was given to him that sat thereon. First of all, what would you call the one that was sitting on the horse? What would it be? If the horseman, the white horseman, was Christ, what would be this horse or this horseman this horseman that sat upon a red horse? What would it be? First of all, who would give the horse power? Who could give the horseman Slaki, the horseman power to take peace away from the whole earth? Go ahead.
The Most High.
That's right. And the Most High, so if the Most High did it, right, what would the horsemen be?
They could be the angels.
That's right. Give your brother a hand. So it's an angel. It's an angel that's sitting on this horse that was given power to take peace from the earth. Like right now, you see the earth is not at peace at all, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody beefed out with everybody else, man. You see all these volcanoes and hurricanes and you know the you know, tornadoes and so many other things that every day you look up, you're looking for things to be not at peace, but you're looking for the next crisis, the next mass shooting, the next earthquake, you know, the next you know, horrific event that's responsible for setting the earth upside down. That's what we look for every day. We don't wake up thinking everything is going to be peaceful. We wake up believing it's going to be more, you know, more evil in the earth, more, or I should say, more dysfunction in the earth, right? Keep reading.
And that they should kill one another, and that there was given unto him a great sword.
A great sword. See that, and that sword represents warfare, right? Keep going.
Verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
Go ahead.
And I heard a voice in the midst of
those balances, I don't know if I'm mixing something up with this one right here. So I'm gonna ask the question about what those balances represent. I know, like if you go to any court building, you will see like a scale, like remember the triple beam we used to use? You'll see something like that in the blind lady's hand. So she don't have on any, she can't see, she just doing what? Judging the earth. Right. Or judging you. Not based on what she's seeing, looking at you sitting there as a defendant in the courtroom, but based on the evidence that comes out against you. I believe that that's what that represents. That this is the time where justice is going to be rendered throughout the earth. Christ represents a righteous king who's going to come and do what? Subdue the whole entire earth, right? And in his subduing, he's going to subdue the earth in a righteous manner, meaning he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. If you're found with the mark of the beast in your forehead, you might get the sword. You see what I'm saying? So Christ is coming to render a righteous judgment in the earth, and I believe this horse right here, if I'm not mistaken, represents that righteous judgment. All right, keep going.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny.
And General Hyman, you know, like he's the authority on this scripture right here. So I believe, read it one more time. A measure of wheat for a penny,
and 3 measures of barley for a penny.
3 measures of barley for a penny. 3. I'm gonna skip that right there and get some more on that, and we can come back to it next week. Keep going.
Sir.
You got that one, Michelle?
Well, it's a question of mine.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me try to run through this and we'll get to that question. Go ahead.
And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
See that thou not hurt the oil and the wine. So in the destruction of the earth, I believe, if I recall, right? In the destruction of the earth, and I see you got that mouthpiece up there. In the destruction of the earth, I believe everything is not going to be destroyed, right? There still has to be some resources out there. I'm not going to go too far into it, but I believe that that's what this breakdown is talking about. Certain things is going to be reserved, and you're going to have access to certain things, and the whole entire resources of the earth are not going to be destroyed. Because if everything was destroyed, how would we replenish the earth after Christ come and subdue it righteously? Right? I believe I'm correct, but I'm gonna call General Muhammad and ask him to give me a little bit more detail on it. Go ahead.
I believe that's.
Is that it right there? Or you just wanted to know what those
Yeah, what was the four horsemen like?
they just represent Christ and the angels coming to set the earth in the proper in its proper balance. First, of course, it has to be destroyed. It has to be torn down first, right? If it's going to be torn down, and then of course it has to be some things reserved, right? Because we don't want to destroy every single resource, because you still have mouths to feed. You know, you still have, you know, the children of Israel that's going to be here that survive, right? So it just represent the process that it's going to take to render the earth righteous, and then the building of it and its reconstruction. All right. What's the question you got online?
It's Sister Makadash Yahawada. She said, when it is said that the sinners will be outside the gate, can you please give a real life example? The scripture she refers to is Revelations 22, verse 15.
Let's go there real quick.
Revelations 22, verse 15. For without are dogs and sorcerers.
Give me a little bit more before that.
Revelation 22, verse 13. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments.
So what's the verse that she's asking about?
Verse 15, I want.
Okay, give me verse 13.
Verse 13. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last.
Who is this right here? Go ahead, Michelle.
Yahushua.
That's correct. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For verse 15.
This is her verse right here?
Coming up.
Go ahead.
For without are dogs.
For without are dogs. Go ahead.
And sorcerers.
And sorcerers. Go ahead.
And whoremongers.
And whoremongers.
And murderers.
And murderers. Go ahead.
And idolaters.
And idolaters. Go ahead.
And whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
And whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. And her question is what?
Her question, can you please give real life example of those outside of the gate?
Of those that are outside of the gate, of course. A real life example of those that are outside of the gate is that anybody that reject Yahushua. There's a lot of that going on in the earth right now. I just lost a brother-in-law, and I don't mean to make him an example, but I came to him with everything in the Bible. Even if you're on your deathbed, even if you're sick, and on your way out, you could be 90 years old, man, and on your way out, if a priest come to you and he give you this Bible, give you these laws, statutes, and commandments, and you accept it, right? You are accepted by the Most High at that point. But if you reject it, you are one of these people that are on the outside of the gate. That the Lord said, for without are what? Dogs. That's a heavy thing right there, man. Sorcerers, idolaters, man, and murderers, and whoremongers. Meaning it's people out there that prefer their own ideology, their own the thing that motivate them personally in the earth, which is on the topic that I wanted to bring out today in Romans. I wanted to go there. It's absolutely on topic. So a perfect example is this right here. The Lord made a covenant with the children of Israel. We've fallen several times, not just once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. We've fallen several times. Paul said it's a reasonable thing, man, that you sacrifice your body for this work right here. We're going to get off into that. And actually, her question is a good question. I'm going to give you plenty of examples. Actually, if you read the title of the class, That's really what the whole class is about. It's not necessarily about some woman that have sex on her husband. You know, the title of the class, these whores, there's some hoes in the house. Is that
Disgusting whores.
Disgusting whores. So I just wanted to give an example like of Martin Luther King Jr., Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton, T.D. Jakes. You know what I'm saying? Even Jay-Z. All right. These some goddamn hoes up in here, man. You know, so her question is on point, on topic. Who has something first before we begin with that? Go ahead, Zara.
I just had a question on that, sir. So it's like could it be an example of somebody you try to get a truth to, and they'll look at you like you the dummy?
That too. Anybody, bar nobody, that reject Christ, that reject Yahushua, man. Bar none of them, man. All of them gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? So a prime example is everybody that has because the scriptures say that this gospel shall be preached to all flesh. At some point, everybody on the earth is going to hear that Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people are the children of Israel, are the chosen of God. That Christ was a nigga out the tribe of Judah. You know, and then upon rejecting that, you reject it because what? Your own personal lust. The things that motivate you personally in life. Don't jail with Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people being the chosen people of God and Christ being a nigga. That don't fit into your, you know, in your psyche. It don't fit into your everyday agenda. So you reject it, which is the lust, the true lust of the Bible, man. Lust ain't always about a big ass. You know what I'm saying? Or some sexy man that you want to get with, sis. Lust ain't always about that. Lust is that thing that drive you as an individual that contradict the law, statute, and commandments. That force you to say, no, I ain't getting with that because I can't smoke weed. You know, I can't you know, smoke crack. I can't pop holes. You know what I'm saying? That's your lust right there.
Right.
When you reject Christ and the Most High, you're a dog. You're a disgusting dog, man, that eats his own vomit. That's what the Lord said about you. Along with being what? What's the title of the class?
Disgusting whore.
A disgusting whore, sis. You're a disgusting whore if you reject Christ and this Bible for any other ideology. You've whored yourself to some other God. So you have something else, Michelle?
Kind of had a question, I don't know.
Another question?
But I had a question.
Go ahead.
That goes right along with what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
What about those folks? Because this is coming at me. I haven't responded, but it's like when you did that class over at the Van Dyke Center.
Mm-hmm.
She hit my phone with, "Can you read this?" She hit my phone with, well, she just let one of my wives know that, well, I'm reading from Babylon the 10:2. It's as if she's, because you asked me, so you don't let your wife go down there no more to their Bible study. No. But now it's like she's sending a message to try to get me to come down there with the very scriptures and books that we use. My question, because there are what they call sorcerers outside of there. This to me, this is like sorcery, because she's pretending at this point that she's interested in the truth, but we know she's the biggest Christian bitch in that motherfucking building. Excuse my language.
No, you on point, and she, and let me tell you what's going on with her right now.
Go with that.
She was so compelled, so impressed by our breakdown at that semi-lecture that we gave, right?
Come.
The reason why she walked out, the Bible said the wicked flee with no man pursue. Because we showing her in the Bible precept upon precept, right? Line upon line. Everything that we say, we back it up with multiple chapters in the Bible, right? So the only thing she could do to save face with those women that she was telling God love everybody is get up and walk out.
Come.
That's the only thing she would do. And when she walked out, she took about 2 or 3 other sisters with her, right? So now what she's trying to do, she's trying to go around her elbow to get more knowledge. And what is she going to do when you give her those scripture breakdowns that Commander General Yohana gives us?
She's going to run back and make a Christian presentation to those.
That's right. That we the children of Israel. That you're the daughters of Zion. Next thing you know, it's going to be another a Christian a sister group out there that don't follow their husbands. You're gonna keep feeding them sisters knowledge, and next thing you know, they're gonna uphold her like she Christ himself. So you cut her off. Don't give her not. And tell your wife to cut her off as well. That would be my advice. That you tell your wife to cut her off because she's not a good influence on your woman. That's my opinion. All right, go ahead.
So like you said, would a precept to that be don't give your pearls?
That's right. Cash your pearls to swine. She's a disgusting pig. That's what she is right there. Right. So let's go to Romans, man. I want to go into Romans real quick, and I'm gonna ask this question, and for the life of me, if this come out wrong, I want to invoke some Christianity and say, God know my heart, right? It's a lie, but I ain't gonna do that. It's a question that I want to put out there, right? And the question is I've rehearsed how to present it so it won't be disrespectful, so it won't be an abomination, so it won't be a blasphemy. You see what I'm saying? So it won't be a blasphemy, it won't be interpreted as blasphemy, I should say, against the Holy Spirit. But I'm gonna ask this question because everybody in here and every man that I know, for the most part, in the Israelite school of UPK is a real nigga.
Right.
That has done real nigga shit in his past. I want to ask this question of all the real niggas out there, man. If the Most High was a man, right, and the children of Israel was, like he always referred to us, as his comely and delicate woman, what would real niggas consider the Most High as? Raise your hand if you want to answer that question. Or raise your hand out there in the audience if you got an answer for me. If the Most High was a man, right, and the children of Israel, right, all of us represented his comely and delicate woman, right, what would real niggas call the Most High? What would be our, what would we say about this nigga here? What would we say about him when we look at his relationship between his woman and himself? What would we constantly, would we even hang with this nigga, man? Would we fuck with this nigga right here, man? Would we be blazing this nigga?
Right.
Think about that. If the Most High represented a man and the children of Israel represented his woman, right? What would real niggas say about the Most High? What would we say every time that nigga get up and went to the bathroom? The Most High would be in here doing, man, she did this to me today. She did that to me today. Oh my God, I can't believe it. She did that. I caught her doing this. What would we say about this nigga right here, man? Barack, I want you to answer that question for me, young man.
He's a sucker.
You being gentle. We would say some horrible things about the Most High.
Oh, God, sorry.
You know, we would really say some disgusting things about the Most High.
Right.
If you bust him down to a man and you surmise the actions of the children of Israel over the course of their existence after the covenant, with how they regarded this man that done everything for him, provided a home for him, land, gave him wealth, fed them every day, clothed them, preferred them above everybody else, man. And then she went and did what? Whored herself with other gods. Not just once. Which, even for the life of me right now, I can't understand a man ever forgiving that right there.
Right.
You know, but some men do, right? Some men do. But if the Most High was a man and the children of Israel represented his woman, we call him a what, Barack, y'all?
Sorry, Dad.
We call him a pussy ass nigga. You own it. You own it. He'd be a pussy ass nigga every day.
Good.
Every day I saw him, man, I'd be thinking, man, this old pussy ass nigga right here, god damn.
Right.
All of the tale out here, man, that you undone about one broad. Now think about the statement I just made, right? How many nations out there really trying to please the Most High and convince him. It's other nations out there that's cuddling him and showing him I could be better.
Right.
I could do better. I see everything that you told them to do. I'm gonna make a book and force my people to do it 10 times better than them. Can you just give me a chance? Let me just show you how much I love you. Forget about the children of Israel. They out there, man. And the Lord said as much. If he would ask the other nation to do it, they would do it. Look at the Arabs, man. They cover their women from head to toe. You know, don't eat no pork, man. You sell some drugs in Arabia somewhere over there, they cutting your goddamn head off. Steal something, they chopping your arm off, man. Still again, they chop the other one off. On opposite, they chop your arm, your hand off, and your foot on opposite hemispheres. You know?
Right.
You go over there and try to praise another God in these lands, you know what they're doing? They killing your ass for that, man.
That's right.
You getting your head chopped off in the city square. Let a woman get caught in the act of adultery. The Arabs, man, I seen this video. The Arabs dig think about the land being like this. The Arabs take and dig a pit right here, stick the woman in it, and then they stand around the pit while there's a goddamn camel cooking in the background, and they take rocks and beat her goddamn head in. I seen the broad head just while she below the ground, and then they take the dirt and pour it over her. Not to mention how many men get their heads cut off for being whoremongers and drug dealers and drug addicts, and you can't even preach over there against Islam. You can't be a Christian over there, man. Choose another God and watch what they do to you. So you got other nations that's trying to please the Most High, simultaneously with us saying what? We don't care. We're gonna sleep with who we want to sleep with. We're gonna do whatever come out our goddamn mouth, man. Not to mention after the chattel slavery, man, where our oppressor beat our backs in, man, and raped our women and sodomized our sons. Not to mention after that, you still had whores raise up out of our nation and say, do what? Serve these other gods. Right. Even after all of that horrific consequences of serving gods, we had leaders come up and say what? Let's choose these other gods, man. So let's get into what Paul said in Romans the 12th chapter real quick. I'm going to show you something.
In the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 1, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Father, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
That you do what?
That ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
Paul is saying he coming to you, man, with a vigorous, a very profound request that you present your bodies as a sacrifice. Read it again, Salaki.
That ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
That you present your bodies as a living sacrifice. Go ahead.
Holy.
Holy meaning separate. Go ahead.
Acceptable.
Go ahead.
Unto God.
Unto God, man. And the only way to be holy is to embrace the ideal of being one that is committed to serving the Most High and following His laws, statutes, and commandments. There's only one way to do that. You got to open up the book and read. You got to get with the Israelite School of UPK, come into this one body, and we're going to teach you how to please the Lord. There's only one way to do that. Paul was one of many men that followed Christ, and his mission was to go to those that had embraced the ideal of serving other gods and other nations and following the ideology and the religion and the customs of these other nations. So he was commissioned to go to them and to convince them of the error of their ways. That's why I say, I beseech you, right? That you give your body as a living sacrifice, right? For the Most High. Keep going. because they wasn't doing it at the time. They was following other gods. They were effectively whores. Right? Keep going.
Which is your reasonable service.
Which is what?
Your reasonable service.
Now listen, that word right there, reasonable, which is your reasonable service, goes to everything that I just broke down before we got into Romans. Right? If the Most High represents a man, right, and the children of Israel represents a comely and delicate woman, we as real niggas, right, would call the Most High a pussy ass nigga. For how many times he've allowed himself to go back to her, despite all of her infidelities, her whoredoms. We'd be saying, man, what's wrong with you, man? You better let her go. What the hell wrong with you taking her back? Even in the law said the only way that you can divorce her if she does what?
Commit adultery.
She commit adultery, man. We've done it already, man. We continue to do it. But the Most High, yet and still, he does what? He gives you another chance. So Paul is telling you, man, listen, bro. Well, I'm about to bring you something that's a reasonable sacrifice. It's a very reasonable sacrifice that you embark upon because of all of your past iniquities and the past iniquities of the men and women that came before you. Now is the time to submit your bodies as a reasonable sacrifice to the Most High. Why is it so reasonable? Because we've been so disgusting, yet and still, he's given us chance after chance after chance after chance. We give brothers these same opportunities today, and yet they reject. You see? Keep reading.
Count 'em with kind. And be not conformed to this world.
Read it again.
And be not conformed to this world.
So to conform to this world, you would have to do what? Who want to answer that? Do we have any more questions?
We had somewhat of a question, but it was more of a comment.
Comment about on topic?
Comment.
Let me hear the comment.
Go find it.
Go ahead and make your statement.
Oh, you said, what do it mean to be not conformed to this world?
That's right.
Contrary to the Most High. Being not for the Most High.
So tell me, does it mean to conform to this world?
And to conform to this world, you have to be a disgusting sinner
Okay.
that don't accept the Most High.
But think about all. Give me some more details. You're right. But give me examples of conformation to this world, of conforming to this world, I should say. Help him out, Barak, y'all.
Please your flesh, sir. At all times, doing what you want, doing what you feel is right in your heart.
But give me some worldly. When I say the world, I'm talking about the world we're in right now is up under the banner of the Israelite School of UPK. But the other world that we are in is what?
USA.
That's right. So give me some example of conforming to the United States of America. Like there's certain things that we got to do. I got to obey the speed limit. You know what I mean? I got to stop at the stop signs. I got to pay my taxes. You know what I mean? I can't. It's certain things that you can't do in this country. So give me an example of conforming to things that you're not bound by the law to conform to, that you do anyway on your own, of your own spirit. Go ahead.
Voting.
Khan, that's a good one. Voting is an excellent one. Mashal.
Oh God, it's not gonna seem like it's a good one, but right now, you're electing to send your children to public schools.
Public school, you think that's okay?
The only reason I say I want is because we watch Officer Roger Barr prove that you don't need public schools to educate your children.
But let me ask you a question. Where's Lagabar right now?
Right here.
Right.
Okay.
Lagabar. So I don't know any people, and maybe there are some. I wish that we had a group of sisters that was willing to take care of my children every day. Because right now, my children right now with a babysitter that don't believe what we believe. You see what I'm saying? So I wish those things were available. We could set them up right next door. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to accept that because I believe the vast majority of us are forced to send our children to public school. I'm forced because if I had it my way, my children would not go to public school. But you know, my ribs work and I work, so the kids got to go somewhere while we get money, while we slave to pay our tithes, to pay our building funds, our barrack fees. You know what I'm saying? To pay our car notes and our mortgages, etc. So I'm not going to accept that one. Give me some clear examples of, and I'm surprised y'all didn't say the number one goddamn confirmation of this world that our people, you know, voluntarily embrace. You know, I see you raising your hand right now. Go ahead, Zarak.
The LGBT community.
That's another one because that's not the one I was looking for, but you're correct. And in the last election where they elected Barack Obama, part of what was on that ballot was accepting gays and all of this homosexuality that's going on right now. And I was talking to my sister. We was in this big ass debate about whether or not the majority of our people are brainwashed, right? We was in this big battle. Well, she didn't see it that way, right? And I was proving to her that yeah, our brains are filthy,
Right.
you know, and we need a cleansing in our brain because we conform to everything America has just spat at us after slavery.
Right.
And one of the examples I gave her because she mentioned Barack Obama. I'm like, girl, please give me one signature thing that Barack Obama came out with that helped black folks, that solely assisted black folks in their lives. And then I had to remind her, sis, you know when you go to them African braiding stores that them Africans don't fuck with you.
Right.
That's right.
And you know that she chuckled on that one and had to say, damn, you're right. Them Africans do not mess with me. And I had to remind her, you know what Barack Obama was? He was an African. He wasn't a nigga like you, sis. He wasn't like you. You know what I'm saying? So I had to prove to her that currently we still operate under the same system that freed us, or so-called freed us out of slavery. I proved to her that Abraham Lincoln, he wasn't a Democrat. Why you voting Democrat all the time? Because Abraham Lincoln was a Republican.
Right.
You know, so I went through the whole history of the 20s, and I got into good detail with her. And at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, she kind of yielded, right? You had something else?
Come. You was asking what will we do to stay in America, pretty much, and that is that once a week Sunday go to meet Christianity.
That's the one that I'm looking for right there. The main thing that we do, to the brother's point, in America, that we voluntarily do in America is become Christians. Christianity was handed to us by our slave masters, and we still push that thing to this day.
Right.
Right? Go ahead, Kazak.
The crazy thing about that Christianity is so strong that people actually get offended when you're not Christian.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For you to sneeze and somebody say bless you, and you can ask them like, I don't really get off to that culture. That's not my culture. They'll get offended. Or you can at least say thank you.
Right.
But I don't want you to say it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's like they want to force you to say thank you for something you don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And to your point, they sneeze around me all the time. I don't say nothing. They bless me. They get pissed.
You get pissed
Right.
off.
To the point, I had to go into the history of that sneeze. I don't want to sidebar too much, but just study the history of that goddamn sneeze, or that bless you. God bless you. Study where that come from. It come from a time where, was it the bubonic plague, or it was some disgusting disease that people had often in the earth, right? And or in a certain region, the bubonic plague. What was it? The bubonic plague?
The Black Death,
the Black Death, right? And the symptoms of the Black Death was a sneeze.
Right.
You would sneeze when it wasn't cold outside. You just sneeze, right? And the people that would see you sneeze would be like, God bless you. Like, hey, you about to die. You got that plague. And then just slowly but surely, it's still the customs of the people to this day. And Christ spoke about how we embrace the doctrines of men as if it's the doctrines of God. I think it's Matthew 24th chapter, somewhere 25th chapter, somewhere around there. Go ahead, Zara.
Come on, sir. I was gonna add, could one be abortions?
If confirmation of this world, goddamn right, abortion is. Man, listen, man. If it wasn't for abortion, we would be another 40 million strong in this country. Just black people. I ain't talking about the Hispanic tribes. We'd be another 40 million strong in here, man. Since Roe v. Wade, 1972, 40 million babies been aborted. Now, see, that's just the 40 million babies. How many babies would they had? Damn. And their children had since 72. I got grandkids right now. I was born in 72. Go ahead, Michelle.
That's heavy. You would use that particular mathematics. Being in the military back in the past. Let me explain how they do this. I was over in Korea twice. And we had an incident where we ran over a chicken house. We killed some chickens. And the Army produced a check. The United States Army produced a check that took care of 3 generations. In other words, they took into account the chickens that were killed, how many possible eggs would have been laid, how many chicks would have been born for that, and how many eggs would have come from those chicks that they lived. And that was the equivalent of what they felt was fair reimbursement.
Damn right.
For running over a chicken coop ain't bigger than that damn corner. A chicken coop.
But it's producing eggs every day. Right. And those eggs is not the chicken you're making money off of, it's the selling of the eggs. Much like, we have a bunch of mighty men up in here, man. It ain't 40 million of us in this country right now. You know that, right?
Come.
In the black community alone, it's not 40 million of us.
No, sir.
I think the stats on black Americans is like 30-something million, 36.
It's under 36 million.
Right, we're not quite 40 million people, man. But just think about that. If we would have had all of those babies, the majority of us aborted 2 or 3 babies, man. We don't like to talk about that. We don't like to admit it. But all of them women that you was banging on the side, that came to you for that abortion money, you know what I'm talking about, Michelle. Came for you for the abortion money, and you gave it to her. Some of y'all sat in the clinic with her because you didn't believe she was pregnant. And she come out that joint sore as hell, man. Salakia. You know why it's your story? Because it's all of our stories, man. We've been the whores, man. We've been some disgusting whores to the Lord, man. Killing our own goddamn babies so we can eat.
Right.
Killing our own babies thinking that the United States of America offered us something different than what we experience right now. When the Lord said the only power that you're going to ever receive is if you obey the law, statutes, and commandments, man.
Right.
That's right.
But we've been disgusting whores. Go ahead, Kazak.
Just to add on to what you were saying, it got so deep within our community that you would have the parents telling you,
man,
you know what I'm saying, the people that's supposed to guide you better.
That's heavy. That's so heavy you say that, because believe it or not, it's the parents that made you feel like a baby was a curse.
Right.
You know who they learned it from? Go ahead, Zara.
The white man?
Yeah, inadvertently, they learned it from the white man. But they learned it from their mama, and who learned it from her mama, who learned it from her mama, who learned it from the white man. The nigga ain't shit. And then if you have this baby, guess what? Your life is going to be miserable. You're not going to go to college, and the bitch never went to college anyway. You're not going to get a good job. The bitch never got a good job any goddamn way.
Right.
And then you sit back 20 years later and realize how many babies you done murdered so you could enjoy this quote unquote good life.
Right.
Man, oh man. Now see, the sacrifice of the Most High is a broken heart, man. That shit breaks your heart. That breaks your heart, man. Realizing you killed people that would love you, man.
Right.
That would take care of you on your deathbed, man. That never turn their back against you, man. And you murdered them in the womb. That's heartbreaking right there. And the majority of us right now, man, my age and a little bit younger, we brokenhearted right now, man. Because we realize, man, this world ain't offered us shit, and they lied to us. The devil, our oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
See what I'm saying? Come on, we're going to get some more of these scriptures, but go. Who else has something? Go ahead, Michelle.
I had a question. How should we understand, or, I deal with pictures. As long as I can get a picture of something, I can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the correlation between what we see today and what the Most High see in us today, in that He speaks to us, or speak at us, or teach us, that He looks at us as a people, as a man will look at his wife?
Okay, that's a good one. And let's go to Exodus. Let's go to Exodus, I believe the 24th chapter. Or is it Exodus 20? Actually, go to Exodus 20 and let's start reading around verse 3.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Right. Keep going.
Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Well, what is he saying? Like, I just made an analogy between if the Most High was a man and the children of Israel represent his woman, his bride. You know what I mean? What statement is he making right now? What would you say to your wife? What do your wife know once you marry her? What is the implications of marriage? Go ahead, Zarak.
The vows? I don't want to say it like that.
No, what the vows? Okay, but what vows? What are you committing to? What would she be committing to once you go into her flesh?
Of serving you forever.
In what? Not just serving you, but on point, on topic. Read what you just read again. Thou what shall have what?
No other gods before me.
And what would you tell her what would she know after you stuffed that log up in her? What she know?
She can't go be loyal to no other gods.
Hold on, give it to me in the analogy. Break it down. What?
Don't sweat, sir. I got you.
Uh-huh.
She can't sleep with no other man.
That's right, man. Get a brother a hand. Finally said it, goddamn. Like, that's what the Lord is saying. The Lord's saying the same thing, man. I think personally, I don't know of a breakdown that has ever touched the subject, but I think personally the reason why we go through so much hell with our wives is because we caused the Most High so much hell in our obedience to Him. So why in the hell should you have it so good with your woman when you've been such a disgusting whore to Him? Right. I don't know that breakdown is probably in the Bible, and I should ask a man above me if it's in there. But sometimes I think the reason why I have so much goddamn hell and you have so much goddamn hell with your woman is because we didn't give the Most High so much goddamn hell.
Yeah, right.
And you need to see what that shit feels like.
That's it.
You need to see what it feels like. And the Most High said so much in Deuteronomy, Salakia. He said, thou shalt betroth a wife and another man gonna bang her. That's in the Bible. Go ahead.
So, like, can you say that again, sir?
Salakia, let's get because I'm mixing my street talk with what's in the Bible. Let's get what's directly in the Bible, man. Thou shalt betroth a wife and another man shall lie with her. I believe that's in the Bible.
That's in Deuteronomy 28.
Please.
You ready for what images I want?
God, you can put those up there. You got a split screen going?
I got them in the,
Put a split.
picture in picture.
God.
I can make it bigger.
Oh, you got them in the corner somewhere?
Right here.
Okay, Con, that's Tawab right there. So the Most High said, said, the analogy is, read that again in Exodus.
Come. When Exodus 20 and verse 3, thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And when you make love to your woman, man, and marry her, she know at that point she cannot what?
She cannot sleep with another man.
She can't sleep with another man. Because what we've done is marriage. We've gotten married. And the Most High said, you can't have another husband if you've married one already. Right? So that's the analogy, the answer to the brother's question. But keep reading in Exodus.
Come. Verse 4, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Thou shalt not what?
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Any graven image. What does that mean? Is the Dawadah a graven image? Like I often look online and I see people, calling our Dawadah, the Magan Dawadah, a star. And I'd be wanting to bust their head, but I don't. I just ignore it. But are we talking about, can I make myself a charm on a chain? Can I make something out of my imagination that I think is beautiful? Can I make a rose chain? Meaning, can I make the image of a rose in gold or silver and put it on a Cuban link and present it to whoever I want to present it to as a gift without it being declared a graven image? So what's the difference between that and a graven image? What's a graven image?
I can look that up, sir.
Please.
In the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Graven image, an object of worship.
Hold on, say it again.
An object of worship.
Who the hell bowed down to the Dawadah? Who that symbol that we wear? The shield of David. Who in the hell praying to that? In the Israelite school of EPK. Some dummies out there, man. You know what? Our enemies just want us to just want to slander us. That's all it is, right? So the Dawadah is not a graven image, not to go too far off topic. But what is a graven image is that cross, that Christian cross.
Right.
That's a graven image. They kiss that joint. They believe that's associated with divinity. That's a graven image. It's sitting on the top of every Christian cathedral. They kiss and hug it and love it. You know what I'm saying? That's a graven image. Go ahead, Barak, y'all.
If I could, sir.
Please.
When you think about it, when people do, worship that chain, why would you worship your God that got hung on the cross?
That's something that I think about a lot, man. Why would you, if it was about real the love of Christ, I should say, the last thing you're going to do is put, your father they electrocuted your father. They put him on the death chamber, in the death chamber, and his death was by electrocution. Would you wear an electric chair around your neck and call it a holy thing? Hell no. Right. You would hate that joint, wouldn't you?
Right.
You would despise it, So the excuse that they use that I'm too up, I already got something. The excuse that they use is not valid. Really, what they're doing is embracing something that they were taught, and they've started to love this thing because people before them told them that it represented some form of divinity.
Right.
And I don't even know if they even taught that. It's just like something that has been handed down without even speaking on it that they do.
Okay, sir.
Kissing on a goddamn image that your king was slaughtered on, and you saying that that's holy?
Right.
Or that's righteous, or I don't know what the hell going on with that, man. But give me some more in Exodus. Actually, somebody give me Ezekiel, the 16th chapter. Ezekiel 16, read verse 1.
Ezekiel 16, verse 1. And again the word of the Lord came up unto me, saying, 2, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations.
So this the Most High, man. He already seen his wife, his comely, delicate woman who he made this covenant with in Exodus, right? He's seen her whoring after other gods. And Ezekiel is tasked with, read that one more time.
Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abomination.
To know what?
Her abomination.
Keep going.
3. And say, thus saith the Lord God unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan.
Mm-hmm.
Thy father was an Amorite,
Mm-hmm.
and thy mother a Hittite.
What verse is that?
3.
All right, jump down to the 16. Jump down to verse. I think it's 20. Start at 24.
Ezekiel 16:24. That thou hast also built unto thee an eminent place,
Mm-hmm.
and has made thee an high place in every street. 25. Thou hast built thy high place at every head of the way,
Mm-hmm.
and has made thy beauty to be abhorred, and has opened thy feet to everyone that passed by.
And has opened thy what?
Thy feet
Go ahead.
to everyone that passed.
So what does, think about what the Most High is saying to the children of Israel, right? This is him, he didn't caught his woman in the actual act of adultery. And think about the analogy, man. It's hard for some of y'all to even me, I can't even fathom this right here. I'll come home from work, man, and my rib is taking rot. You know what I'm saying? And you can hear it and see it. Think about that. You scratching your head over there. Just think about that. And then you come and you tell me about it, right? You tell me about you going home and catching your wife with rod up in her, right? And then guess what you do the next day? Oh, I forgive her. Just go tell her the wickedness of her ways. Like I said, if the Most High represented a man and the children of Israel, his woman, and you knew the story, you'd be calling the Most High what? Come on, man. A bitch ass nigga. A pussy ass nigga. That's what you'd be calling the Most High. You'd be calling, man, you pussy ass nigga. Man, come on, let's go to the club, man. Let's show you some good pussy. I done seen that woman you got. The fuck is you all up? You should be happy. You should thank that brother, man, for getting you out of that situation. The Most High, no, Ezekiel, go to the children of Israel and tell them how they whored against me. Warn them. I'm gonna accept them back. You be calling me a pussy ass nigga. Who disagree with what I'm saying? Because read what the Most High just said. He caught the children of Israel doing what?
He said, Thou hast built thy high place at every head of the way.
Man, you done went out there while I'm going to work. You done built you a little place at the head of every way where men walk. You going out to the club. That's what he's saying. You going out, every time I leave the house, you out in the high place at the club with a bunch of men around you. And you doing what? Every time a man passes you. You doing what with your feet?
And has opened thy feet to everyone that passed by.
Read it loud. And thou hast done what?
And has opened thy feet to everyone that passed by.
So what does a woman, right, when she opened up her feet, what is she offering everyone that passed by? Go ahead, Kazak.
The box.
That box, man.
Just like you, my man.
Please.
The scripture saying thou hast opened thy feet. In today's term, it would be saying, we'd say, oh, she done opened her legs to it.
That's right. That's what they're saying. Same thing. You done offer that monkey to everybody. You know, I come home and I catch you in the actual act. And then every time I leave, you're in the club. And my man's telling me at the club, every nigga that approach you, you open your legs for. You leave with him. Drunk and lust off of some bullshit that he done told you, some trinket he done dangled in front of your face that you think is more significant than what I do for you. This is Martin Luther King Jr. right here, man. This your Al Sharpton. This your Sadducees and your Pharisees and your scribes, man, in Christ's day. You know, this your TD Jakes, your Creflo Dollars. You know what I'm saying? This your average brother, man. This your average brother on the street. Your average sister on the street, man, that's a Christian. Christian one day and in the club the next, man. Keep reading, Kazak.
And has increased thy whoredoms to provoke me to anger.
Hold on, and it has done what?
Increased thy whoredoms to provoke me to anger.
Now, it wasn't enough that you just, you know, one guy you slept with, two guys you slept with, three guys you slept with. But shit, you didn't increase your whoredoms, man. You taking rod every night at the club. And listen, you didn't provoke me to anger. After the third one, I'm angry now. Man, come on now, man. Y'all be calling the Most High a bitch ass nigga if he was sitting here in the form of a man. With all he has sacrificed, man, so that you could have this opportunity, man, because he loved you so goddamn much. Go back to what Paul said. How old were you at, Kazak? Go back to Romans chapter 12.
Come on, in the book of Romans, chapter 12, and verse 1. And I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God.
And this is the Lord's mercy, man. The mercies of God, man. Mercies, is that plural?
Come on.
And more than one mercy he bestowed upon your whorish ass. He caught you once, twice, three times. So these are the mercies of the Lord right here. I beseech you. Read it one more time.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God.
By the mercies of God. Go ahead.
That ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
That you present your bodies a living sacrifice. Go ahead.
Holy, acceptable.
Separate, acceptable, meaning obeying the law, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead.
Unto God.
Unto God. Go ahead.
Which is your reasonable
service.
service.
Which is your what?
Which is your reasonable service.
Which is your reasonable service. Given you've been such a disgusting goddamn hoe, it's a reasonable thing that you do right now. Present your body as a sacrifice unto the Lord, man. Forgoing your lust and your hate and your anger, man. Leaving all of that shit in the past. And right now, based on what the knowledge that you get in the Israelite school of UPK, present your bodies as a reasonable sacrifice, because we're showing you how disgusting you were in the past. And that the Lord could have been wiped you out of existence, period. But he has given you another opportunity through the death of his son on that cross, who shed his goddamn blood in the most horrific death that I have ever read about. It's a reasonable sacrifice that you present yourself, man, to the Lord. You know, man, and obey the law, statutes, and commandments, man. Come up out of the conformities of this world and embrace as it is written. All right, keep going.
And be not conformed.
And do what?
And be not conformed.
And be not conformed. Go ahead.
To this world.
To this world, man. Don't operate in the conformity of the United States of America and how it does things. Be totally different, and the difference, you should be able to see it. You come in here, you should be able to follow orders, man. You should be able to go to camp. See what I'm saying? It shouldn't be the dissension that we had in the world amongst one another transpiring in here. Keep going.
But be ye transformed.
Be ye what?
Be ye transformed.
And the transformation is from that whoredom that we're talking about right now to holy and faithful servant. That's what we're talking about right now. Grab it, though. Keep going.
By the renewing.
By the what?
By the renewing.
By the what?
Renewing.
Renewing means what? Who will tell me what renewing was? If you don't know it, look it up in the dictionary. By the renewing. What does that mean to be renewed? Give me exactly what I want, Kazak.
To make new again.
That's right. Meaning you were new at one point. You come out your mama's womb. Brand new baby boy or girl, right? Now you've grown up in this inequity and you have adjusted to the spirit of this place. Now the Lord is saying, be what?
New again.
Be new again. That goes in line with what? Give me something that Christ said, man, and that's a prerequisite to entering into the kingdom of heaven. Go ahead.
Perfect.
That's a good one. Mashah.
Be born again.
That's what you got to do. Give me the exact scripture
Okay.
where he says, this is the one I want right here, where he says, unless you be like one of these little children. That's the one I want. Lest ye be like one of these little children, man. Go back to Exodus, Kazak.
Come.
You was in Exodus what?
No, I was in Ezekiel 16:25.
Who was in Exodus?
I was in Exodus, sir.
Okay, you go back to Exodus, Zarak, and then Mashah, you gonna grab Ezekiel.
Which Ezekiel?
No, Zarak, Kazak, you was in Ezekiel,
I'm
wasn't you?
in Ezekiel. So
Okay, how old were you at in Ezekiel? You were looking for what precept?
Unless you become a little church.
That's the one I want right there.
I think that's 18:3.
So,
18:3.
Go ahead and read Zarak.
Come. We're in the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Man, thou shalt have no other gods. We just went over that. Keep going.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image,
Mm-hmm.
or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above.
Nothing. You shouldn't be making anything to bow down to. Keep going.
Or that is in the earth beneath.
Go ahead.
That is in the water under the earth.
Meaning the earth beneath. Like what do you dig up in the earth and you find? Go ahead. Give me some things that when you dig up dirt, what you find in the earth that people worship to this day.
Weed.
Give me another one. Weed is one of them, but people don't necessarily bow down to the weed plant.
You dig up.
My nigga right here.
Dig up.
What like if I go out there right now in the grass and I dig up the grass, chances are I'm gonna find dirt, roots, and what else?
Stones.
And what?
Stone.
And stones. That's what I'm looking for. So the Lord said, don't make a graven image of anything in the heavens or on the earth or in beneath. Who prays in a stone right now today? Slocky, we ain't even gotta go there. But that's the point. That's the point I wanted to make right there. All right, keep reading.
Come. Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them.
Right.
For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God.
That's where I wanted you to read right there. The Lord said he's jealous, man. Just like any man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my woman talking to a stranger, man, more than 2 seconds. Enough to tell them to get the fuck on. I don't want her saying nothing to no goddamn stranger, but Shemai, I'm out of here. You know, some stranger. I ain't talking about the brothers, right? And the Lord we got His same spirit in us.
Right.
So if again, I keep asking this question, and I'm gonna keep bringing it up because I think it's a heavy thing to at least run through your mind. If the Most High represented your homeboy and the children of Israel represented your homeboy's wife, what would we say about your homeboy, given how many times his bitch didn't hold on him and he forgave her? What would we say about the Most High? Give me something we would call him. Like he leave out the room crying about after telling us I caught her blowing his rod. I caught her having sex. What would we say about him after he leave out? Somebody got to carry this nigga up to his bed. What would we be saying about him, man? Come on now. So like while you're thinking about that, you gotta listen to what Paul said, that you gotta present your bodies as a reasonable sacrifice to the Lord. Ain't it reasonable? Given how many times He's forgiven us for these acts, for this whoredom, ain't it a reasonable thing, man? Because if He was here and you didn't think He'd blow your goddamn head off or chop your neck off, you'd call Him a bitch ass nigga for that.
Yeah, right.
Come on now. What would you call him, y'all? A goddamn simp. Man, I'd be like, man, get this nigga away from me, y'all. You gotta get him away from me, man. He too bruised. He too bruised. He too hurt, man. And like what would we be trying to tell him, dog? Y'all, man, come on, man, let's hit the club.
Right.
Nigga, what? Hold on, I done seen her. And I know you love her, but goddamn, I seen her. She ain't. Let me show you what some that, man. Come on, huh? No, man, but you know. That's the Most High, man, with your ass. That's the Most High with you, man. If it gave you so many goddamn times, not once or twice or 3 times, the Lord tell us what? Some of y'all can't wait till that bitch commit adultery.
Right.
Shit, some of y'all waiting in the cut for her to do something disgusting like that, so you can do like this. Now, what if the Most High did you like that?
Right.
Well, what if that was His thoughts? Because like I said, the Arabs trying to please Him, man. The Arabs praying 10 times a day, man. They fasting 40. They trying to outdo you, man. They got their woman dressed from head to toe, covered up. They don't eat no pork. So-called don't sleep with no hoes. They trying to outdo you niggas, man. Keep reading. Actually, read that last part, then jump down to go to Exodus 24, verse 3.
Come on. For our Lord thy God am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation.
You see that? Unto the 3rd and 4th generation, man. We still under the curses that our fathers was under. I believe we just come out of it. But we nearing the end, I should say, of the iniquity of our forefathers, or paying the price for the consequences of our forefathers. What time is it? 7:05. Man, damn, is that late, that quick? Okay. Let's try to run through some of these other ones. I'm going to give you some more examples of where we slip. Go to Exodus 24, verse 3 real fast.
In the book of Exodus chapter 24 and verse 3, and Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgment, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord hath said, we will do.
And that was the covenant. That's like your woman agreeing with marriage right there. She agreed to marry you, and then a week later you caught her sleeping with your best man. All right, go to real quick, go to Judges chapter 8, verse 27. This is going to be the last one, then we're going to get up out of here.
In the book of Judges chapter 8 and verse 27. And Gideon made an ephod thereof and put it in his city, even in Ophrah. And all Israel went thither, whoring after it, which thing became a snare unto Gideon.
Exactly. So it's not the first time that one of our leaders, like Gideon, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Michael King, had convinced us to go whoring after other gods. Right? We're gonna have to continue this class next week. We're gonna continue on in the same topic next week because we are approaching so-called Martin Luther King Day and Black History Month. With that, I'm gonna turn the class over to Priest and Officers of Rock for the reading of the security announcements. then you have to send the price for those things.
ISUPK security announcements. We're at the ISUPK, star out of 1 West, 125th Street out of Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the word. They need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi 3 and 8 through 10 means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Up and coming holy convocation is the Feast of Purim, which is March 7th through March 8th, 2020. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headbands, and scarf. With that being said, I'd like to give a courtesy salute to the teacher, Men of Israel, Amajim, Majim Shabbat, Aimajim, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat,
Y'all Bashim, y'all Shabbat Katham.
Yajim Matam, dismissed.